So I'm sitting here by this parking lot and leaning against this tree in the dark, chilly, windy night, and it's gorgeous out, and I'm doing something I don't usually do, but I just wrote this poem, and I wanted to share it because the poem's called Let's Talk About It, and because it's about talking about things that are important, it seemed like I should probably do something more than write it in my notebook and not think about it for months. And it's a poem that I just wrote. I finished it about 30 seconds ago because I was going for a walk tonight and it was lovely and chilly and I was in my own little world, and then some boys drove past me and yelled some not very nice things at me, and I came home and sat outside and got a little angry for a minute, and then I decided to write this, so I wanted to share it. So here it is. Let's talk about the boys who called at me through their car windows, one after another, yelling they'd each probably like to fuck me. Let's talk about them like they have no idea that they made me cry. Let's talk about them like they think that they were paying me a compliment, like they think that just because I'm female or I appear female, I exist for their approval. Let's talk about them like they can be held responsible for their actions. Let's talk about them like their actions are a problem. And then let's talk about the boy who raped me. Let's talk about him like he was so drunk he didn't remember the next morning, but I did. Let's talk about him like maybe he did remember, but he was too ashamed of what he'd done. Let's talk about him like he didn't apologize because he didn't understand what he would apologize for. Let's talk about him like he didn't know what he was doing was wrong, even when I yelled at him to stop. Let's talk about him like what he did was not my fault. And then let's talk about the problem. Let's talk about the idea that boys will be boys means that this is okay. Let's talk about it like we want to stop blaming victims. Let's talk about it like victims are people and they have stories and those stories are valid. Let's talk about the problem like we want a solution. Let's talk about it like we are starting a movement. Let's talk about it like we're going to do something. Let's talk about it like we want it to stop. Let's talk about it like we want boys to be boys to mean that they will be good people, and we will hold them to that. Let's talk about it like it's real. Let's talk about it all the time, but let's also start a fucking revolution.